Alright, so I've been thinking. Basically, basically what this video is going to be about is more or less what monsters, outside of, werewolf, vampires, and zombies, would be cool to see in the cinema. And I picked 3 monsters. 3 that are most likely. And I know when you see these monsters, you're like, hey, wait a minute, we've seen that on the big screen. And I'm not talking like sci-fi movie, I'm talking like big production movie. And yes, like I said before, yes, I know some of these 3 monsters basically got movies before on the big screen, but I'm just saying, what I mean is this day and age, like this century. That's all they've gotten movies in the past. I'm just saying, how about this day and age with new technology and all that? First off with the Windigo. Now, if you've probably read Marvel comics, at least with an X-Men or Hulk comic featuring the Windigo, basically, you pretty much know the origin of the Windigo. The Windigo is an actual creature in mythology. Well, actual mythology, but whatever. If you read the comics and know about the origin from the Marvel Windigo, that's actually 95% true to the Windigo mythology. If you don't know, here's the quick rundown. In Algonquin Indian myths, it's said that if a person consumes another person in the wild, their spirit becomes possessed and becomes a ravenous wild beast who only concerns himself with eating other people. That makes a kick-ass monster right there. That makes this mindless, unstoppable killing machine that, it's not a werewolf, it's not it's a monster that only concerns itself about eating and pooping. That's about it. But, yeah, this creature could really make a really good science fiction monster. I know, like I said, I know there's been movies about the Windigo before, but I really like to see one in the new day and age. Maybe like I don't know who could direct it, but I'd really like to see the Windigo be on the big screen in this like 2011, 2012, 2013, around the 20s. But yeah, this is another cool monster. It really plays up on psychology as well. The thing about the Windigo is that there's some truth to it, that there's a mental disease that affects certain people when they're out in the woods too long, and they go insane and believe that they have been driven into becoming this monster. So that's where the myth derives from. It's from a mental illness. If someone is out in the woods too long, they begin to feel like they've become an animal whose only interest to survive is to continuously eating. So maybe that's what it can turn out to be. Like maybe a group of hikers get lost out in the woods, one of them starts going mad, and then he slowly turns into the Windigo, and it's basically a survival movie. That's how I see it. That's a good way of, bringing in this creature onto the big screen. And I'd really like to see some good CGI. I'm talking like maybe the creatures we saw in the Apes movie, kind of good CGI. What we saw in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, good CGI. That's what I'm talking about for the Windigo. The Windigo, another special ability is that it has, according to Algonquin Indian mythology, is that it can move through space and time just to get to its prey. It's also able to copy people's voices. So yeah, not only is it pretty much unstoppable, it can teleport itself and mimic people. So I think you pretty much got a pretty cool spiritual monster right there. But anyway, moving on to the Jersey Devil. Yes, I know there's been some movies in the past, but like I keep saying, it's for this era. I know there was a couple in the 90s, and there was actually one on Sci-Fi, but like I said, this is a big screen we're talking about, and big production. Now, the Jersey Devil, now this is just a drawing right here of what the Jersey Devil supposedly looks like, but I'd really like to have CGI play around with that, make it look more demonic, more ferocious looking. I'd really like to see that. The other thing is that I would really play up on the origin of the leads of the Jersey Devil. For those who don't know, here's a crash course, and this is actual stuff right here because there's actual descendants of this woman known as Mother Leeds. She had 12 kids, and when she was about to give birth to her 13th child, she screamed out, "Let it be a devil!" And so the story goes, her 13th child was a demon. Basically, that's how it goes. Now, Mother Leeds is real because she does have descendants living in the U.S. Now, for the Jersey Devil origin, that's unknown. Originally, in historical fact, the baby apparently died, but the creature, the Jersey Devil, has been spotted. Is a big cryptid. You know the story of the Jersey Devil. You pretty much know that. Anyway, yeah. So I definitely have it like another like an In Search Of series, like maybe this group of young intrepid idiot teenagers going out to look for the legend of the Jersey Devil to shoot for a web series, and they find it the bad way. So this would definitely be like a point of view movie, or maybe just an acting movie as it is. Maybe a bit of both, actually. A bit of both would be kind of cool. Like you see some scenes from a point of view shot, and the other ones are just regular film shots. Like maybe kind of like for those who have ever seen that show Freaky Links, kind of go down that route. Freaky Links was basically kind of like that. It was acting and point of view series. So definitely go down that route, and maybe try out that route. And the Pine, what is it called? The Pine Barrens is an actual place where the Jersey Devil supposedly resides. And actually, I was talking to the Mount Vernon kid about this, and he's told me he's been to the Pines, where the Jersey Devil supposedly lives, and he says even in the daytime, it's one of the scariest places he's ever been. So I think that's pretty funny when the place in the daytime, a place can scare you. So yeah, the Jersey Devil's another cool monster. You can play around with. Definitely, I'd like to see more monster movies in general, like not just big giant ones, giant monsters, as much as I'd like to see that, but also the medium-sized, scary thriller monsters. And I think the Jersey Devil kind of plays up into that favor I have. But yeah, I think they'd be very cool, and also retool how the creature is going to look. CGI can really play with that, because this is just a person's drawing, and that doesn't look scary, but there's been other ones that are like, ooh, shit, I don't want to run into that. But yeah, definitely retool, but keep true to some of the looks of how the Jersey Devil supposedly looks, and I think we'll have a pretty scary monster on our hands. Anyway, moving on to the final monster that I think is probably has the best shot of getting a movie, and that's the Kraken. Yep, the Kraken. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, what about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Well, that's a totally different universe. I'm talking about current times Kraken. And I know there's been movies about the Kraken on the big screen before, but again, and I keep saying this in this video, in this time period. Now you're probably wondering, well, how can a giant squid be scary? I wouldn't actually, if I could do this movie, I wouldn't have it just focus on the squid as well. The Kraken would be, a part of the movie, but the focus would be like, people lost at sea on a boat. Like maybe a storm rolls in, and these idiots on a yacht get themselves lost at sea after a storm, and their equipment's broke, and something finds them. Now, if I could do this, I'd really play up on the emptiness of being out in the open ocean with little food and tensions running high, and the fact that there's something very big and very hungry just below the surface. So, yeah, I wouldn't play it. The Kraken's just an element right there. I'd have it like the people are, they gotta fight each other in this movie as well. The Kraken's just there. He's hiding under the water. And I mean, look at this picture right here, and look at the Kraken. I would definitely have it this size, if not like even bigger. I've always been because the ocean's scary, people. I mean, it's not the water that people are mostly scared of. It's what's in the water that scares people. So I'd really like to play. I really think they could play up that if they have another movie about the Kraken. In fact, I wouldn't even call it just call it a giant squid, and people are like, oh, it's the Kraken. So yeah, I think you could play up with that. Just play on people's fear of being just abandoned and alone, and the fear of the water itself. Play up on all that and add the Kraken to that element, and you've got yourself a good basic horror movie right there. So I feel like you could definitely do something along those lines. But yeah. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know this video's been kind of helter-skelter, but I I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I know there was a lot more monsters I could have picked from, but I just decided to do it small and just pick out 3 monsters that I'd like to see get good horror movies. But anyway, you guys tell me, what monsters would you like to see in the on the big screen, and how would you do it? Would you do it point of view, a regular horror movie, a documentary, a fake documentary type horror movie? I really want to know. I think there's a lot of monsters and cryptic and mythological that you could play with to use. I mean, there's a lot out there. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm out.